Hello, everybody. I'm George from Ireland. Well, I just found out the sad tidings today that Mr. M.A. Town died. I'm not sure when Mr. Town died. Was it just like yesterday? Was it weeks ago? From that WEA news thing. And he was a housemaster. I think it was called Hop Garden House. He always knew by his initials. M.A. Town, a geography geek for many, many years. He's been called to his reward at 77. The great big classroom in the sky. I believe he never married. But he taught me only for two halves, that Lent and the summer half when I was sitting GCSE, so D block. He was an extraordinarily eccentric character, and I knew lots of boys in his house, and nobody had a bad word to say about him. And despite being strange, and that's a good word in my book, um, nobody seemed to dislike him because it's a bad thing. A lot of people would like bully anyone they say is weird or whatever. So his mannerisms, his voice had this spoke with a rather taut back of his throat and so on, and even his posture with the hands out like this and bouncing the head as he walked along and things like that, maybe slightly adenoidal voice as well, had his own extraordinarily eccentric lingo, and there were a lot of oddballs amongst the beaks there. And like order cards, calling them Kennel Club cards. I can't think what else is calling the Irish Sea the Paddy Puddle. You wouldn't get away with that. All this mirthful phraseology talking about Colonel Gaddafi and his merry mob. And what else did he used to say? He was fixated with his dogs. He was a dog dad before the expression was even ever invented, and had a real geography teacher's dress sense. So he stepped down as housemaster in 1997 to be succeeded by the Reverend C.M. Jones, one of the obviously chaplains and divinity beaks. What else about Mr. Town? Really don't know much about his background. I mean, his accent, I would guess he was from like Northern England somewhere, slightly. And goodness, and one of someone in his house said he's never wrong about the weather. Well, I mean, I think it's not just a case of looking at meteorology reports, but that seemed to be a bit of a fixation with his. So um, very pleasant, amiable, had this effortless authority, sorely missed. I know Eton's a menagerie of these really bizarre types you wouldn't find anywhere else. It's probably not like that anymore. But that's Mr. Town. So, you know, he was. I remember seeing on the touchline there with his dog. Don't know which breed it was. It was a rather big one. It wasn't like one of the stereotypical Labradors or Retrievers or something like that. A brown black one on the touchline with his teams who performed rather well. Seemed to be, I mean, I hardly ever went into his house, but seemed to be quite orderly. So wow, fondly missed. Had a positive influence in my life, as was certainly wasn't a star pupil in his subject, calling me Cal. He sort of liked to abbreviate all sorts of surnames. Norton, calling him Nortonian. So a very quirky chap, incredibly zany, so very, very memorable. Not exactly dull, not humorous either in an odd way. He wasn't exactly into cracking jokes, but people just seem to accept this his strangeness. So a very unique character, sorely missed. Well, I hope you enjoyed a happy retirement. But that's it. Poor old Mr. Town. Time is marching on. So memento mori.